What it do, guys? I'm back in the garage with the bike. Super Stock bike gave me a little bit of problems. After the April race, I was riding it back to the trailer, and the oil pressure light blinked on, and I'm like, oh shit. So I hurry up and cut the bike off, and then coasted back. And then when I got back to the trail, I was like, oh, well, I'll just fire it back up, see if I was like a fluke, and for like a hot second and see what happens. Got back to the trailer, let everything cool down, went to go fire it back up, it came right back on again, so I shut it off. So I don't know what's up, but we're about to figure this out together. As you already know, before the season, I had said I might have to do something to my motor, and I was like, I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna rebuild it, but I actually didn't go through with it because I thought that by cleaning the pickup, I would be a-okay. And I didn't have the light, but all those metal shavings that we saw in the when I cleaned the pickup that I showed you in my previous video before the season got started, yeah, that was a thing. I should have listened to myself, because I was gonna take the motor out, and I thought about it, and I was like, nah, I'll just clean it. I didn't have any issues, put it back up in there. I bought a new pickup, and yeah, it came back to bite me in the butt. So, long story short, we got the whole month of May to break this down, take the engine out. We're gonna do all the work ourselves. We're gonna take the complete motor split. We're gonna check rod bearings, we're gonna check crank bearings, and then we're gonna put all new bearings back in. While we're down, we're gonna do the regular general maintenance. While I got it down, I'm gonna put new piston rings in. I'm gonna put a new timing chain in. I'm just gonna do all of the preventive maintenance that I can do right off the rip while the bike is completely tore down, you know? I'm not gonna do anything with the head and send the head out for anything in terms of getting stuff checked or anything like that, because I believe that that's okay. But if we do see anything crazy or alarming, or the slightest hint of like something could be coming, that's gotta go too. Only thing is, I can't do that in-house. So I mean, I could take the valves out in-house and stuff, but I can't seat them and do all that stuff. I don't have all the proper tools for that, so I'll just take the head to one of my preferred shops that I have in mind and let them service the head, and then when that's done, we'll put it all back together and we'll be ready for June's race. I do have one caveat for June's race though. My daughter has a dance recital and her pre-K graduation, so nothing comes before her, so I will not be participating fully in the event. Her pre-K graduation is on a Friday. That's usually one of my qualifying passes, so I'm not going to that. But her dance recital is on a Sunday, and VMP is like a 2.5 hour drive for me to get to the track. So I'll probably show up Saturday. I'll qualify all day Saturday just so I can get the points for qualifying. Sunday, depending on when her recital starts, which I'm waiting on the details on that, I may or may not be late or just not there at all. But you know, it is what it is. Family's first. So I will never get to see my baby graduate again, and I don't want to miss the dance recitals, and I record all of them. So yeah, just happened to fall on a day, and I gotta pick between daughter and bike. Daughter wins. So let's get this thing broken down. As you can see, I already got the rear tire off. Taking that off just because I gotta lean the motor forward to get the motor out, so the chain has to be free. I probably could have left the tire on, but I just took it all the way off, put it up on the stands. You guys are pretty familiar with stripping these fairings down, so I'm gonna strip the fairings down. Then I'm gonna drain the fluids out of the engine, so I'm gonna drain the oil. Then when I go to take the radiator off, I'm gonna drain all the radiator fluid, get that out of the way. The tank probably can stay on. I don't know if I gotta get to anything, but I'll just take it off for GP and get it out of the way. And then after that, we will start disconnecting a ton of electrical stuff, lean the motor forward, get out the take out the bolt for the back half of the motor that keeps it in place, and then which will be this one and I don't know if you can see this one. So first what I'll do is there's motor mounts up here that I will let loose after I take the exhaust off and let it slide forward, and then I'll take this out too, to let it slide forward, and then this will be the only one holding it in, and then I'll just slide that out, drop the motor, and then after that it's easy peasy. It's always easy taking stuff apart. It's a pain putting it back together, but I got the manual and all that stuff, so I got all the torque specs and everything what it needs to be. I will not be able to order the bearings or any of that until I break the motor down to see what size bearings are in there. Then I can order the bearings, and I already ordered the rings, already ordered the OEM head gasket. It's just the bearings I need to know once I physically put eyes on. If you guys know, they come color coded with this in there. Now if something's damaged, I may have to see if I'm going to have to go up in size for bearings, but hopefully not. Hopefully I caught it just in time to where maybe it's just like very, very, very little scarring, but we'll see. So stay tuned, let's do this. All right guys, we're making progress. So definitely get you guys one of these bike lifts if you can, and makes your life a tad bit easier when you gotta get up under there to kind of do stuff. You ain't gotta be bending all on your knees and stuff. I forgot my little safety bar, so I gotta go find me one to put in there, but usually you want to have a little safety bar in there. But anyway, just got the exhaust off. Of course I got the side fairings off. You guys already know how to do that. That's self-explanatory. Knock those out, got the tank off, self-explanatory. So now my goal is to take these little springs off, and then this spring, and then the rest of them I'll get to once I get this radiator out, but I'm gonna drain the fluids, then get this off here after I drain the oil and the radiator. The radiator is only held on by a little bolt right there, which is a 10, and then it's another one right there, which is a 10, and then down here, which is a 10 or 8. It's like a 10 or 8. And then, like I said, I'll get all these springs to disconnect the fan and get that out the way, and then from there we'll be getting to the nitty gritty where we got to start unplugging everything. So what I do, guys, is I take pictures literally of everything, because once you get the motor apart, all the wiring apart, sometimes you forget how stuff was routed, and then you're like playing a guessing game. So I usually take pictures of all this side, take pictures of the whole other side, and then that way when it's time to go back together, you know how the stuff was routed, how things were in place, so that way it's like no question in terms of what needs to go back. And what I also do is I create these little cups, and I put all the bolts in with the cups. Over here I have cups which you can see that I've labeled. Oh well, if I can get it out. A label like tank cover, right side fairing bolts, yada yada yada. So do a little stuff like that, because after you get into taking so much stuff apart, I mean, you definitely can be a master at taking these things apart and putting them back together, and then your memory will slip you for like a hot second. You'll be like, dang, I forgot what bolts went where for this thing, and then you're guessing and you're just throwing bolts in places, and then they may not really go there, and they work, but you know, your bolts and stuff are all out of place. So I'm gonna drain this fluid, get this radiator out, get this exhaust off, and I'll tap back in with you guys. Holla! All right guys, just like that, we are ready to take the motor out. Drain the fluids, got a bunch of the covers off. I'll go over what I took off with you. So front sprocket cover had to come off. Like I said, loosen that chain, because when you're gonna lean the motor forward, that chain is gonna want to come forward, and then you're gonna have to take this bracket off so you can get the chain off, or take the front sprocket off to get the chain off of the motor. Whichever you prefer. I'll probably just take the bracket off, because I'm gonna leave the front sprocket sitting right on there. You're gonna want to unhook if you have a power commander or the main plug right there that runs right up to the throttle bodies. So that's got to come out. Your throttle cables are gonna have to be loosened up top. They're already loosened up top, so I can lean those forward. Then you're also these two bolts here, one there is gonna come out, one up here is gonna come out to hold this whole little bracket in place. And then your overflow reservoir that goes right there, you're gonna wanna take that out, but I'll put the screws back in there. Your headers are gonna wanna come out. So I got that out the way. Then you're gonna want to also make sure you remove your ground cable, because when you lean your motor forward, it's gonna stretch this cable. It was right there, so definitely wanna do that. Unplug one of your sensors up top. And then, you're also gonna want to unplug your oil pressure sensor, which is right here. The cord runs all the way back and then kind of goes up through there. It's on like a zip tie holder thing there. Undo that, because that will get tight on you and pop, and you don't want that to pop on you. And then, excuse me, shucks, you'll be ready to lean the motor forward. It's not that bad once you get going. It's not that bad. So, I did have to take my tank off because I had to undo my fuel line here, because that's going to want to lean forward when these throttle bodies lean forward. So definitely got to take the tank off. I believe you have to take this one yellow plug apart, because when you lean forward, this is going to want to stretch. Everything else up in there is to the throttle bodies, and you won't have to remove nothing until you get the motor all the way out, and then you have to unplug some stuff to get the throttle bodies out. So next step now is to undo the motor mounts up top here, which I'm just gonna probably take. I'm probably just gonna take. Now I'm gonna take the whole thing off. So those two up top, that one right there, that one comes off, and then those two up top, that one right there, that one comes off. The motor will not lean forward until you do this one. And then when you do this one, once you bust the nut loose on the other side, you see how it has threads in there? You're gonna have to thread that in to get the spacer to go in, so you have some gap there. And then be mindful that you're gonna wanna loosen up the bottom one here and do the same thing, because if you can see, it has threads as well. So you wanna screw that in so that space can go in there. And then the motor won't move when you take these off, but the motor will move when you go to lean this out. So prepare to have yourself a little jack, which I'll show you. I have a little baby jack that I'll put up under there. So then that way I can slowly ease the motor down, and then that way you can make sure that you are not having any cords or anything stretching, any cables that may be still attached. That need to come loose, so you always go slow and keep observing to make sure nothing's stretching. I also got to undo my throttle body, my stacks here. So if you have OEM stacks, the rubber ones, I think you're still gonna have to loosen them up so they can fall out of the pocket there. But yeah, undo those too. I'm about to undo those, and then I'll be leaning the motor forward. All right, guys, it's not looking too bad. I probably have this motor out. With filming, it's, you take a little longer because you're showing and you're stopping, and with filming. I don't know why I can't say that word, but you're going, you're stopping, you're showing, and all that stuff. And my GoPro's acting funny. I'm gonna have to buy a new one. I don't know. But anyway, it should take you no more than about an hour and a half if you're rolling to get this motor out. And then if you kind of know what you need to unplug and do, and you don't have to really stop and look and all that stuff, an hour and a half you have this thing out. I've had it out before, so I just wanted to show you guys the process and show you what you got to do, man. Sometimes when you're racing, shit goes left, and you got to do what you got to do. Thankfully, it went left with the month that I have free to buy parts, get the motor down, break it down, put it back together, and get it back rocking and rolling. So, yeah, let's hit the next step. All right, so it should look like this when it comes down. That slides down. Remember I was telling you, unplug that, get that out of the way. I'm gonna take my throttle cables off here in a minute. This had to come off of here. Remember I was telling you that plug needs to come out, and then she should slide right on down. I took that motor mount bolt out right there. I put the jack under the motor, got some tension on the motor, and then pushed that out. Literally was able to push it out with my finger. After you loosen the nut up and get the nut off of this end and loosen up the other side in terms of that spacer that I was telling you have to screw in, and then leaned her down. Now the jack is down as far as it's going to go now, so I'm gonna lower the bike down, and then I can lift the motor up with my hand, swivel it back up, get the jack off of it so it can come all the way down, and then I'll take this bolt out right here, and then the whole motor fall down, and then I'll be in the money. So yes, that's all you got to do. Little patience, little evening to yourself, and you can have your motor up out of here in no time. So I will get this out, then we can start breaking it down later. Just like that, she's out. Took the throttle bodies off, and got her linked over here. I got to get her up on my table. I got a table coming, and I'll have this this thing mounted up on the table, so then that way I can get rocking and rolling and break it down. But it's out. Only thing additional that I forgot to tell you guys was make sure you get the starter wire that goes there from your battery, from your starter solenoid down there. That will hang up. But other than that, that was all she wrote, and she's out. Now we got to break her down. Tomorrow I'll be tapping you guys in on the breakdown.